everyone? Yep. Wait, this one. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JP Thong. I'm now at Kechara Forest Retreat. As you can see, I'm now trying to look for a place because our internet line just dropped. So we're just looking for a place for me to talk about our paranormal sharing today. Okay, so should I sit here or should I go back to my room?
I think it's better here.
It's better here? Okay, so I'm going to get myself ready. Very sorry, it was very sudden that the Wi-Fi dropped. And just give me one sec. So I was just going around the house trying to get Wi-Fi. So we found the Wi-Fi, I think, came back on.
Then what happened as you were going around?
Yeah. Okay, anyways. Wait, just give me one sec. So as everyone is tuning in, I will settle down, yeah? So sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
Maybe you can turn on the aircon, perhaps? Okay, so let me clip this here. Is the lighting okay? All right. Yeah, so right now I am in Enchanted Forest, as you can see, I'm standing right next to our famous Bigfoot statue that was that Rinpoche found one of his students to commission a statue maker to do. It's made of solid wood. So let me see who's here. Bradley, hi. David, Wei Ting, Jacinta, Wubi, hello. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, so for those of you who just tuned in and you're wondering why I'm sitting out here outside of my room, is because there was no internet just now. So Passage and I were walking around the building looking for internet connection. So here we are. So I'm just sitting out here. Yeah, I guess something different. Okay, so today I will talk about, let me see, a few things to talk about, and it's pretty interesting. And I'll talk about my paranormal experiences when I joined Kechara. Yeah, there's been a lot of various experiences, from spirits to holy beings, and so on and so forth. Nature spirits, deities. Yeah, it's been pretty interesting actually. All right, so I will talk about my experience when I was house hunting while in LA. This is when I followed Rinpoche to the United States 6 years ago. And what happened was we were in New York and then we moved to LA because New York during the winter was way too cold for us. So we unanimously decided to move to LA instead. And when we did that, we had to rent a place. And it's very difficult because none of us have any credit history, to rent. So not many people wanted to rent to us. And there was this particular house that I saw online, and it was huge. It was, I think the land was like 1 acre, and the rental was very, very cheap. So I went there with one of my colleagues. So we went in, and the whole house was very run down. So to us it was fine, I can always do it up, and it'll be fine, because as long as it's cheap and the owner was willing to rent to us without any credit history. So that was what we were looking for. So we went in, and what happened was we just taking pictures, going around, and we went to the master bedroom. It was a very old house. I think it was built perhaps it felt like it was built in the 70s. and it's been left vacant, I think, for at least a good 5 to 10 years. So there was still a lot of stuff in there, and the whole place was just very, very run down. So anyway, so when we went to the bedroom, then I went to check out. I went to check out the master bathroom. So I was taking pictures and all that, and then we were pretty much done. So I told my colleague, who turned on the lights, because it was, even though there were lights coming in, but I asked her to, can you please turn it on so that I can take clearer pictures for everyone to see. So I did that, and then when we were done, then I said, okay, we're done, let's go, let's turn off the lights. So she turned off the lights, and there were just the same light switches that were there. And for some reason, there was a particular light in the center of the bathroom that refuses to turn off. And I said, did you maybe miss it? Maybe it's on the other side? She was like, no. She's like, just turn off those lights. It's just these set of lights. And I said, okay, well, let me try. So I turned on all the lights. There was only a few on the left and the right. Then I turned them off again. And that particular light refused to turn off. So when I looked back into the bathroom, because I was at the door of the bathroom, when I looked back in at the bathroom, I saw an elderly lady wearing a summer dress. She was looking at me. And when I saw her, I was like, oh, no wonder, because she wanted me to know that she's there. And my colleague, I didn't tell my colleague anything. And she looked at me in a lot of fear, and she said, JP, forget it, let's go now. So I could see the fear in her eyes. I was like, okay, let's go. We'll just call the agent and tell the agent that there's something wrong with the lights and we just can't turn it off. So she walked real fast ahead of me, and we walked back to the car. Then after that, then I updated. Then in the car I said, do you know why? She said she knows why, because she has goosebumps. And I said, okay. I said, well, I saw an elderly lady standing there watching us. She's like, I know. She's like, because she's not very sensitive normally, but because she had goosebumps, so she knew something was not right. Yeah, because she's a very sharp lady, and she knows where she turned on the lights. So it just didn't make sense. So then I updated Rinpoche with all the pictures, and I told Rinpoche through my update of what happened. And Rinpoche said, okay, well, let's ask another 2 of our colleagues to go and check it out and see whether or not they like it, because it's teamwork. And she said, if everybody likes it, then we'll rent it. So I think it was like on the following day, these 2 of my colleagues went to check it out. And I was with Rinpoche and this lady colleague, and we were out doing something. And then what happened was that Rinpoche was like, it's awfully quiet. Why are we not getting updates? So, but I was driving, and then we were just talking. Then after that, we got a message saying that our 2 colleagues came back, and this particular colleague, when she came back, she was feeling very unwell, very, very unwell, and she just had to lay in bed, and she laid in bed, and she conked out for like hours. Then Rinpoche said, and Rinpoche immediately sent out instructions to do certain prayers and to use incense to douse the entire house that we were renting at that time. And then Rinpoche explained to my colleague and myself that the spirit has followed our colleague back to the house and somehow is not very happy with my other colleague. So that's why Rinpoche immediately told my other colleagues to do this to the house and do some prayers for her. So anyway, once we got back, then we asked my colleague, and said, "Hey, what happened?" And she said that when she went in, as soon as she stepped past the gates, there was like goosebumps, and she felt very, very uncomfortable. And when she went in, she was complaining that it was very run down, it was very dirty, and she was just complaining throughout. And Rinpoche said that's why, because she offended the spirits that reside there because it's their house. So Rinpoche said it's very important that when we go to places, if we don't like it for whatever reason, we don't have to voice it out. So so it was a spirit disturbance, and that was what she experienced. And Rinpoche said that in addition to and when Rinpoche, in his clairvoyance, told me what the lady spirit looked like, it matched exactly what I saw. And Rinpoche said, "Did you see another spirit? It is a male spirit that resides with her. I think it's like her helper or something, and it's there." I said, "No, I only saw her." And Rinpoche said, "Yep, they've been staying there for a while." Okay, so and Rinpoche has not been to the house at all, but Rinpoche could see through his clairvoyance exactly what the lady looked like. Yeah, so that was my experience in LA, and there were a few other houses that we went, because we were house hunting almost every day, and there were certain houses, as soon as you go in, you already feel a strong presence, and it's usually a message saying that this is my house, get out. So they're very, very possessive, very, very possessive. Well, I guess I guess it makes sense, because you can imagine if you have strangers walking into your own house, I don't think you'd be very happy with that either, right? So that was a message that I got. Okay, so let's see who else is here. Hi, Christina. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Pastor Nerol. Hi, Henry. Linman. Hi. And Chong Xuan. Hello, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, so that was my experience with my LA when I was in LA, and then my other experience was that house. Well, we ended up not renting that house because it was too run down, and when I looked at all the repairs that I had to do, it wasn't worth it, because the owners didn't want to do anything to it, and we just have to do the repairs ourselves. So we ended up not renting that place, and even with the initial house that we stayed in, which we rented through Airbnb, even that house was haunted, and I would always feel, I think it was like a little kid, always like very curious, looking at what we're doing. She'd be running up and down the house, come into my bedroom to see what I'm doing, and then sometimes when I'm taking a shower, she would come in and see what I'm doing, and all that. So, but she was fine because it was just a little kid and nothing evil. You know, she was just running around. Salters, yeah. Victorian. Oh, you saw as a Victorian dress. Oh, so Pastor Jane and I said that she saw that she was wearing a Victorian dress with lace around her neck. I didn't see that. I just saw a girl just keep coming and just curious. Yeah, so so they do exist all over the place, day and night, and yeah, so you get to experience peaceful ones, and you get to experience not so friendly ones. Yeah, so that was my experience in LA. And what else did I experience? Oh, and when there was once because we always like to go to these, what's those shops called again? The used, vintage shops. Vintage shops are very, very popular in LA. So they are items they're used items where people sell. They sell in these vintage shops. So we would go around with Rinpoche to check out all these vintage items. And there was one particular one that we went to. I think it was near where we were staying, and it was huge. That place was huge, and and people would actually rent spaces in that huge. It was like a huge shop, and you can rent your space and you can sell all your items there. So there were these cabinets at the back, and there were a lot of dolls in there and all the paraphernalia in there. And there was one particular one of a troll. Yeah, a troll is like well, you've seen the Disney cartoon trolls, right? Something like that. So there was a doll, there was a figurine of a troll there. And I walked past it, I didn't look at it or whatever, I just walked past it, like, I'm not going to get that. And as Rinpoche walked past it, Rinpoche was staring at it, and then Rinpoche asked all of us to come and take a look. And Rinpoche asked me, do you feel anything? I said, I didn't notice. I said, okay. And Rinpoche said, well, take a look now. So I did. And it was something very, how would I say? It was not a very nice spirit. It was very subtle. It didn't want me to. When I meant subtle, it is that the troll wasn't communicating with me. You know, like how sometimes, well, for myself, if the spirit want me to know that it's there, it'll do a shout out like, get out, or I'm here, like push a tile from the roof and let it fall in front of you. Things happen, and they're always in my face telling me something. But this troll was hiding in that doll. And Rinpoche said, oh, it has a very sinister energy. And whoever buys this is in trouble. So, yeah, and then Rinpoche gave a talk that how it's very important when we buy used items. It is very important that we recite. Well, because we're Buddhists, we'll recite Buddhist mantras. In this case, Dorje Shugden, recite it and bless the item, so that whatever spirit or whatever entity that is attached to this item is blessed, and it will let itself go. Yeah. So there are spirits that will reside in figurines, even people who used to own a watch, jewelry, clothing, anything that they're very attached to when they were alive, and when they have passed on, their spirit will actually, attach itself to these items. So that's why it's very, very important that we recite prayers and we bless it. Yeah. So Rinpoche gave a talk on that, and how it's because when we're alive and we're so attached to certain things in our lives that even when we pass on, we reincarnate as a spirit, and we just latch on to that particular item. Yeah. So, well, with regards to the troll, we didn't buy it, and we didn't do anything. I think Rinpoche may have done some prayers, right? Did Rinpoche do some prayers? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But very quietly, yeah, some prayers were done, and then after that, we just walked around and looked at other things. Yeah, it was very interesting because these vintage shops in the States, you get to find a lot of interesting things that are made, you know, in the 20s, 30s, 40s. It's very nice. Yeah, so you see, so even from shopping, you can get certain paranormal experiences. Okay, are there any questions so far? Yiman, no, let me see. Celeste, any thoughts on why so many houses in California were haunted? Actually, they are all over the place, Celeste. It's just that we so happen to go, to be house hunting in LA, and we stumbled upon these houses. Sometimes they're in the basement area. It's not particularly in LA. They are all over the place. They're in hotels. I mean, I've traveled around, and they exist everywhere. Actually, everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So who else? Doreen. Besides karma, spirits want to communicate with you. Could it be also that they feel your compassion and your ability to help them? Doreen, I don't know about my compassion. I don't know about that, but definitely there is a very strong karmic affinity that I have with spirits. To the energy healers, they say that because of my aura, it's predominantly indigo and green. Indigo is an aura of spirit of a person who is spiritual, and green is an indication of the healing energy. So I have a combination of these two. And there are people who can actually see either through their mind's eye or through the physical eyes. I have met people who can actually see that. And if not, you can get a camera that can actually take a picture of your aura. Yeah, you can go to these crystal shops, and usually they would have these cameras, and they will tell you what our aura tells you, and the aura will change based on our current emotions. Yeah, and if you study about auras, there are 7 layers. There's 7 layers, so that camera can only take the outer layer. Yeah, energy healers who are psychic can actually see all 7 layers. Yeah, and I met a lady in Malaysia who, with her eyes, could actually see all 7 layers, and she could tell me exactly what's wrong with me, because she would see any type of blockage as black spots. And she learned that through a Naga deity that has helped heal her tumor, because I think she had a tumor in her uterus, and she needed operation. So one day she told me, this is many years ago, she told me that she had a dream of a lady wearing white. And I guess she's Indian, and in the Hindu religion there is a particular Naga deity that wears this white gown, and she knew who she was. And then she would teach her, and she would say, you have to wake up every morning at 4 a.m. to do a meditation, and this deity would actually guide her to do certain healing meditation. And she said that she was doing it for a few months, and then there was one day after she did the meditation, she had a stomach ache, and she went to the bathroom, and all of a sudden, like a round blob came out from her uterus, and it was the tumor, and she was just completely healed. So she went to the doctor to get it scanned, and the tumor, she said it was as big as a grapefruit, it came out. So ever since then, this deity, she said it's a Naga deity. A Naga is in the serpent family, and she would teach her through her how to do certain meditations to help heal people, and it was because of that she sharpened her ability to see people's aura, because she said that ever since she was a kid, she could see colors as she around people, and she thought it was a norm. She thought it was a norm. So the deity actually taught her to be able to identify all 7 layers and to be able to heal. Yeah, so we have people like that. So yeah, so it's all our karmic affinity. It's all our karmic affinity. So Yiman, so I hope that explains, Doreen. I don't know how I can help them. For now, I can just blow mantras, which is what Rinpoche, Ten Rinpoche has taught me. Blow mantras on them so that they are blessed, and they find, because when we recite mantras and we blow that energy, which is pure compassion towards them. The pure compassion is from me. The pure compassion is actually from the mantras. So when we recite and when we blow towards them, it will actually give them, temporary peace. Peace. Because the reason why that they reincarnate in the form of a spirit is because of their attachment when they were in the human realm. And they just cannot help it. They're totally out of control, and they just keep revisiting whatever it is that they're attached to. Yeah. So when we blow mantras on them, it actually gives them a momentary peace of mind. And for those that are malevolent, when you blow mantras on them, it will repel them and stop them from disturbing us. So it's very, very important. Okay, Yiman, do you know why certain people who cross paths with spirit can get unwell or sick? Yes, it's because there are certain energies that are very, very draining. And back then, when I was doing energy healing, I would come across certain very negative entities, and I would feel very nauseous, and I would keep burping, just non-stop burping, and I feel very, very nauseous. And the energy healer would tell me, the person who was teaching me energy healing would actually tell me that I need to protect myself in this golden egg. It's all the visualization, the intention through visualization. So I did that to block it. So that's why. But now that I'm Buddhist, then because I do prayers every day, so that in itself creates an energy of protection. And I don't feel sick or whatever, I don't feel sick or nauseous and I don't burp incessantly. So it's very strange. I don't know why, but I guess it's because when your body experiences these negativities, sometimes it can affect you, and sometimes I hear that people will fall ill. They'll get fever all of a sudden, and they're very, very nauseous and very, very sick, and they just have to lay down. Yeah, so it's part of the spirit disturbance, and these are the effects that they have on people. Yeah. Christina says, doll like Annabelle. Not as powerful as Annabelle. Not as powerful, but Rinpoche said that troll could actually do harm. It could do harm. Yeah. Sharon, have you seen auras of holy beings like highly attained monks or holy people? Yeah, sometimes, with holy monks, you will see It's difficult to see during the day because of the light. Sometimes when you're in a dim area, you will see like a white light emitting from the body, emitting from the body. Just it's like it's glowing, but you only see that when the lights are very dim. Yeah. So yes, definitely. Okay, Yiman, in answering a question last week, you said by meditating and using your mind's eyes to scan around, you will know the spirit's feeling, thought, but it's not advisable to do that. Do you know whether that technique works to detect human feelings? Yes, you can do that. That is why when we do meditation, but you see, when we do meditation, what it means is we are controlling the mind to calm down, to focus. So when we control the mind to focus, we're calming the mind, and you can be focusing on our breath, which is what I've been teaching during our mindful morning meditations. So you focus on the breath, and now we're focusing on the singing bowl that I am hitting, so that all of you can actually focus on the sound. And when that happens, your mind is very calm. And when your mind is very calm, what the byproduct of that is that your awareness or your mindfulness increases. It increases, and it will keep increasing to a certain level that you can actually feel not just what spirits are thinking or feeling. You can also feel what people around you are thinking and feeling. You can do that. And even if they're not physically near you, they can be a mile away or around, on the other side of planet Earth. Just by you thinking about that person, you will have a certain feeling. Because once you focus on that person, certain thoughts arise, certain emotions arise. Okay, these are byproducts. We do not meditate to gain that kind of mindfulness. Okay, some of you may ask, why does that happen? Well, it's because, we are all interconnected. We're all interconnected. We're all energies. So because your awareness and your mindfulness is so attuned, you can actually pick up these energies. All right? But we don't meditate to do that. That is just a byproduct. We meditate so that when we calm our mind and when we have a better control of our mind, we will be able to understand the law of nature and what our existence is all about. It's more for spiritual reasons. Yeah, not so much for these psychic reasons, although they are byproducts of meditation. Okay, I hope that helps, Yiman. Audrey, oh yes, sometimes when you encounter negative spirits, you get headaches as well, definitely. And some people even throw up. Yeah, some people throw up. Sophie, did you go see Annabelle? No, I think Annabelle right now is in Las Vegas, is in a museum in Las Vegas. It's owned by this talk show host called Ghost Hunters, I think they're called. Watch it, it's very, very good. I used to watch, I think it's called Ghost Hunters, right, Hasjina? The show is called Ghost Hunters, right? It's these guys, and they go around the US and to Europe. Say again? No, I think, but just let me explain this. So there's a show called Ghost Hunters, if I'm not mistaken, because I used to watch it a lot for entertainment. Yes, so I like it very much. And they actually go around houses and provoking spirits, because they will get people to write into the producers and tell them that certain places are haunted. So they have all this equipment, and they will actually document entities, spirits that will appear. So this guy, if I remember correctly, he bought a haunted house in Las Vegas because he's from Las Vegas, and he turned it into a museum. So he bought, and he would spend all his money collecting all these items that has an entity attached to it, and I think he bought Annabelle, if I remember correctly. So it's in the museum. So perhaps one day when it's safe to go to the States again, I would love to visit. Yeah, but I don't think Rinpoche would approve of that, because Rinpoche always tells me that my affinity with spirits is very, very strong. So he advises me not to meddle with them because I may get in trouble. So yes. Christina, I too usually burp when looking at photos, video that is unclean. Yes, that is an indication that there are spirits attached to that. Yes, it's called Batku. Yes, it's called Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventures. Yes, I think it's called that. Ghost Adventures. It's really Zach Bagans. Yes, that's it. Celeste, watch it, because there are many episodes that I watch, and I do feel the presence very, very strongly, and there are certain times when I experiment it, and when I focus on the spirits that they're communicating. Some even can go through your phone, whatever it is that you're watching through, because I watch it through my phone, and there were times that they actually came through my phone. Okay, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to freak out. I didn't want to freak people out. So then immediately I have to recite mantras to appease it. Yeah, so they can travel. These entities can travel at the speed of thought. So I have stopped. So when I watch these reality shows, I've stopped focusing and scanning them, because I was just curious. I was using my mind to scan them. So that created a connection with the spirit, and the spirit knew that I was trying to scan or connect with them. So that is actually a huge mistake. So don't do that. Audrey says, yeah, I don't think you should go. Scary. Well, Audrey, why don't you go, and then you tell me what's up. Yeah, Audrey's my cousin. So yeah, when you go back to the States, check it out and let me know. Take videos. I'm curious. Cochran, JP, if a person at point of death thinks deeply of a favorite place that he yearns to visit, is it possible for that person to be born as a spirit even though the place is far away? It is possible, but you see, it is not as simple as that, Cochran. When we pass away, there are many karmic factors that will come that are in place. So it does contribute, just by focusing on, let's say, I like Kyoto, let's say, I like Japan, I like Tokyo, or I like Kuala Lumpur or New York or wherever. You can be focusing on that. There is a chance that you may be reborn as a spirit and go there, or or there's a chance that you may be reborn in the human realm or in the animal realm in that specific place. But there are many karmic factors that will kick in to determine what realm you are going to be born in. Okay, that is in the Buddhist faith. That's what we believe in. Okay, Cotwin. Wow, Kirsten is good. She Googled and located Annabelle in Warren Occult Museum. Very efficient, Kirsten. Audrey says no thanks, but it'll be interesting. So for those of you who like spirits and ghosts and all that, yes, it will be very, very interesting. All right, so I will continue with my other paranormal sharing. Let me see what else I have. Yes, Well, this is something that's not scary. It's about my experience when I'm in Kechara. I remember many years ago, we would have the board of directors meetings, and my teacher Tsen Rinpoche would usually sit in to listen to the board of directors having a board meeting, and then in his private office, and we would do that once a month. So there was a particular night after the meeting, I would actually escort Rinpoche back to his room with my other colleagues. And Rinpoche would always stop. He would actually walk past, because from the conference room, he would walk past the living hall. And there is a statue of Tukudraba Gyaltsen, who is a holy monk who existed 300 years ago. And he's enlightened. So there was a statue there, and Rinpoche was standing there with his attendants there, right next to Rinpoche, and Rinpoche would be doing his prayers. And I was standing just, 20, 30 feet away, just, observing. And the lights were very dim. And as Rinpoche was praying like this, in front of the statue bent forwards and touched Rinpoche's forehead like that. I was just dumbfounded. And I stared at it, I'm like, I didn't know how to react to that. And then after the prayer, then Rinpoche just walked away. And I didn't know what to say. So, you see, because in the scriptures it is said that like miracles like this happen to Buddha statues when a very holy man stands in front of them praying, and the statues will come alive and they will pay homage to holy beings like my teacher. And I saw that. So then many years after when I had the opportunity to tell Rinpoche, I said, I don't know whether I'm imagining. Then Rinpoche asked me, you know whether or not you're imagining. You need to trust what you see. You know. So do you trust what you see? I said, yes, I do. And Rinpoche said, then stop doubting it. Stop doubting it. And Rinpoche said, if you like, you can share this in the future about what you saw. And here I am, and I'm sharing that. So I've kept this to myself for many years. And it was because, see, a lot of times we may be hallucinating, or we may think we see certain things, and they may not be what we think we see them as. That's why I'm very careful with what I share. And I usually don't share these stories with people. I don't, because unless they ask me to understand, but not as a form of entertainment, I don't. So, but I always verify with my teacher whether or not my experiences are real, or whether or not they are a figment of my imagination. Yeah, so only because my teacher said I could share, that's why I share this specific experience. Yeah, so it is a holy statue in front of a holy person like my teacher, and it actually became alive. That's why that statue is very special, very special. Yeah, so and this statue we will wrong word. We will have this statue. Right now it's in our office in Kechara Forest Retreat. So we will have this statue in Rinpoche's chapel, okay, which we will be building in Kechara Forest Retreat. So I will let you know which one it is when the chapel is completed. Okay, so what else have I experienced in Kechara? Well, in Kechara Forest Retreat, we have a very, very famous oracle called the Panglung Oracle. This oracle is one of Tibet's most famous oracles, and as you know, oracles take trance of holy beings. So in Kechara Forest Retreat, we have the privilege and the honor to build an official residence for this particular oracle who's residing in Taiwan right now. He was originally from Tibet. Yeah, so we have that house for him. And there was one year that the Panglung Oracle came to Kechara Forest Retreat to take trance. So, and this Panglung Oracle takes trance of our protector, Dorje Shugden, satrap, and a few other protectors. And it's very fascinating because the first time when I experienced an oracle taking trance of holy beings was when I visited His Holiness in Taiwan. And it's the energy of holy beings when they enter this holy monk is incredible because you will feel a sudden surge of energy coming, and it's very, very different from experiences of spirits. Very, very different. You will feel, because the protector's energy is very wrathful. Yeah, not that it wrathful in the sense that it is. The energy is very, very active. It's a very active energy, and it's a very holy energy. So you feel a very strong presence, but you feel good. Okay, so that's the difference. And when it comes and when it enters the holy monk, the monk is wearing this hat. It's a metal hat, and it's very, very heavy, and the oracle is in his 60s, and he will shake his head like that. For any person to shake their head like that with that heavy hat, metal hat is wearing, is impossible because you will break your neck. You'll break your neck. So it's impossible, and you see it. And the reason why in Tibetan Buddhism, which has kept this oracular practice and preserved it for thousands of years, is because as we all know, Tibet was not open to foreigners back then. So they managed to preserve this ancient practice all this while. So we're very, very privileged and very, very honored to be able to experience that. And the purpose of the oracle taking trance is to do healing on people, exorcism if necessary, and giving prophecies. Yeah, and also a lot of times the enlightened being who enters the oracle would give a Buddhist discourse. They'll actually give a teaching. Give a teaching to the people there and to representatives of various temples who are there, who are taking notes. So they will actually give a Buddhist teaching. Yeah, so that was my experience with them. And it's very, very fascinating that they could actually tell you exactly what's up and what choices to make. And if you follow the instructions to the T, a lot of time, well, all the time, it will come true. All the time. Yeah, it is only people who don't follow the instructions 100%, that's where the results don't come out. Yeah, so it's very, very fascinating. And yes, this ancient practice still exists in year 2020. Yeah, so that's my experience with oracles. Alice says, okay, wait, before that. Okay, so it was a comment. Do you have any questions? No, we don't. Okay. Oh, mediums. Yeah. Well, in outside of Kechara Forest Retreat, we live near a town called Thong, and we have a chapel on the street, and there is a holy statue there of Dorje Shugden, and it is an emanation of the Buddha of Wisdom, Manjushri. So every year there is a Taoist temple that would actually have mediums taking trance of the Taoists of the deities, and they will parade and they'll walk the streets to bless the the shops and the people who are there. And what happens is they will walk past our chapel, and immediately they will turn and they will do their prostrations. And we caught that on our videos. We have people there taking videos, and we have that in recording. So Rinpoche said, "Oh, look." So they are not faking it, because there's some mediums who would actually fake it. Yeah. When there are unenlightened beings like deities because Taoism is a paganistic religion, so they worship deities that do exist. Yeah, they exist in higher realms, and although they are not enlightened, they have the clairvoyance to tell whether or not this statue is consecrated, and whether or not there's a holy enlightened being there. And if they are, they will always kowtow either to these holy statues, and if there's a holy person, they will also kowtow to them. Okay, holy meaning selfless and attained. Yeah, it's not somebody, and they will see it because deities will have the clairvoyance to see whether or not the person is holy or not, and whether or not the statue is holy or not. Okay, they can see that. So that's why Rinpoche says, you see, so it's not, you don't just hear it from me, as Rinpoche says, you can also see it from mediums who take trance of deities, and once they see a holy statue, they will kowtow. If the statue is not holy, they will never kowtow, never, because you don't see mediums who take trance kowtowing to people like us. You don't, because we have not attained a state of being that is selfless, not to that level yet, not yet. So once we have attained that selflessness and the compassion that makes a person holy, then they will kowtow to your state of being. And that's how it is. Okay? So that is my experience. Do you have any questions so far? Oh, Pastor Shin just shared, you can watch a video of mediums paying respect here. Oh, great. Thank you, Pastor Shin. Thank you. I think we have a few more minutes. I'll share other experiences. Let me see. This is outside of Kechara. I'll bring you back many years before I joined Kechara, and I was telling you that I was learning energy healing, and once or twice a year, my energy healer, who is my the teacher who teaches me energy healing, her teacher, she's from Europe, and she would come and visit once or twice a year to give seminars. And there was one particular workshop that I signed up for, and it is about connecting our soul to the higher consciousness. And the key is, when you do that, you will know your life's purpose. You have more clarity with your life's purpose. See, that's energy healing. So I dabbled on that. So I remember because she rented a room in a hotel, and then she had private sessions with with all the attendees, and they would do all this, and she would connect us to, I think it's called she would connect us to the higher consciousness. So she did that, and it was amazing because when I was, she was sitting right in front of me, and I was sitting, just, I think it was 2-3 feet away from me. And she just asked me to sit back and just relax. So I did. And I was just looking at her, and she was doing her thing, connecting me to the higher consciousness. And as she was doing that, I think it was a good half an hour. And in the middle of it, in the middle of that ritual that she was doing, I could see her face changing like that. It was of different people. I was shocked and fascinated. And I didn't know what was going on. And remember Michael Jackson's video, black or white? Black and white? It's black, it's white. Yeah. Remember that? How they would go, the dancers go like that, and then like that, and it keeps changing. She didn't have to move her head. Her face was going like this, just changing one after another for a good 15 minutes. And I was just staring at it. I was just staring at it, and I didn't know what to make of it. And then at the end, when she finished, I asked her, I said, I saw your face changing. It was a man, it was a woman, of different colors, and it just kept changing by the second. And there were easily hundreds of faces that I saw, easily. And I said, what's that about? And she said that we have met before, JP. What you're seeing is all my previous lives. All my previous lives that we have met. I was like, really? Our previous lives? There were hundreds of faces that I saw. And I could not explain what happened. It was, it was broad daylight. It was in the afternoon, on a weekend. And yeah. And she said, okay, I've connected you to the higher consciousness, and you should be able to connect yourself to your life purpose. And that was that. She said, I'll have more clarity. So whether or not it worked, I have no idea. Well, I guess it did, because then I found my path to Tibetan Buddhism, I guess. Yeah. But so I don't know what that was all about. So I don't know, I cannot verify whether or not it was me seeing her in all her previous lives, as she said, or was it spirits entering her? I had no idea. Yeah, that was one experience that I just couldn't tell what was actually going on. Not at all. Yeah? So did you find that interesting? Bradley asked, so do Buddha statues attract spirits and local deities? No. They do not attract spirits. Well, wait, Bradley. Attract, does it mean that the spirits enter the statues, or does it mean that they attract spirits and local deities to come forth? If you are referring to spirits and local deities coming forth to pay respect to the Buddha statue, yes, they do. Because why? Because in the formless realm, this is a form. In the formless realm, which is the energy realm, they can experience and they can see the energy of compassion, and they're very attracted to the energies of compassion. That's why they always come and they find peace and solace by hovering around Buddha statues. Definitely, if you have the third eye, or if you're very sensitive to spirits, you will usually see them hovering around Buddha statues, definitely, or images of Buddhas, definitely, or even images of holy beings, holy monks. Definitely, they will tend to hover around them. Yeah? So for us, we don't have to be afraid, because some of you are going to go, oh, I have an altar at home, so out of compassion, we put it there, and out of compassion, we allow spirits and local deities who want solace. Because why? Because they are also, well, for local deities who are not enlightened, they are also practicing to become enlightened one day. They are. For spirits, it gives them a momentary peace of mind. So out of compassion, yes, keep your altar, keep your Buddha statues there. Because I do have friends who say, oh, can I not have a Buddha statue or a Buddha image then? Because I'm afraid of ghosts. So I said, instead of focusing on the fear, why don't you focus on how you can benefit these spirits? Wouldn't that be better? Kevin Shed, I had my statues blessed by Saki Trinzen. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah? Any holy being or even a pure monk. They do not have to be a monk of, who is very famous. Doesn't have to. As long as they are pure monks who hold vows, who hold the monk vows, they're good enough to bless. Even we ourselves can bless. The power is not us. The power is in the mantras. There are certain rituals that we do, like in Kechara, we have a department called the Puja House, which is a prayer house that have been trained by ritual masters and by my teacher, Ten Rinpoche, to do very, very effective and potent pujas that can help us consecrate our statues, bless our house, even do certain specific pujas for specific obstacles that we're going through. Definitely. Yeah, it's like going to a doctor and there's specific medication for specific illnesses that we're going through. So we have a lot of pujas that we do, and we're very, very popular because of that. And what pujas do is they actually create good energies. They inject a lot of good energies towards a certain obstacle that we're going through, so that it will dilute whatever negative karma that we're experiencing. Immediately dilute it, and it will help us. Because of that injection of good energies, it will help us overcome whatever it is, be it your health issues, be it your financial issues, be it your career, relationships, whatever it is, whatever negative experiences that you're going through, pujas are extremely, extremely effective. Extremely. And I have experienced that myself because of my experiences with spirits and how pujas have helped me. Even my own prayers have helped me. Yeah? The power of prayers is something that we should not doubt. It is extremely effective if we do it correctly. Yeah, so Kechara is very, very famous for our puja house services. Very, very famous, because not many temples or not many Buddhist temples in Malaysia have that opportunity, to be taught by ritual masters from the monastery. Yeah, so my colleagues here work tirelessly to do all the translation and to transliterate all the pujas, because a lot of times they are written in Tibetan, and we have to transcribe them into phonetics so that we can read it. And then with all the rituals and all that, and we do it exactly how it's done in the monasteries, and it's extremely potent, extremely. All right, so I think that's about it. If statues are consecrated, do their holy energy run out over time? Nope, they do not run out over time. Once it's consecrated, it'll be consecrated for life. And Clive, are spirits only ex-human, or it can be any other living things? Well, it can be any other living things. I have seen spirits that come in all shapes and sizes, in an orb, in a silhouette, in a blob, all shapes and sizes. Yeah, it's like insects. There are billions and billions of different shapes and sizes. Okay, I hope that explains. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you liked today's setting in front of Bigfoot. Okay, perhaps I can share with you stories of Bigfoot. That's also part of the paranormal experience. I didn't experience a Bigfoot, but I have heard stories. All right, so anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Take care.